Hello, welcome back to another episode of Compact Claustrophobia. How you guys doing? I think today is going to be a good episode because on the last one we were able to complete this quest over here, which means we now have the high impact compactor available to us. We just need to build the thing and then set it up to go, and then we can finally continue into the rest of the quests and then make a bedrock pick, which means we'll now be able to escape our bedrock prison. So we're going to get right into it. I'm just going to go ahead and build it like right here, and I can just move it wherever I need to. So there's one thing to watch out for when building this multi-block, is that the cables don't actually show in the preview, but they do tell you that they're there. You see here how it tells you superlaminar fluid duct is required, but on the actual preview, you don't actually see it. But either way, I do have everything, so let's just go ahead and follow it. I don't know if you can shift right click into, sneak to freeze current preview. Oh, okay. There is a way. So how I was supposed to do it is you have to hold sneak while in the inventory and then click. Okay. So I want this to be in the center of the room. I should probably figure out where the center is going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am not in the center remotely. Let me figure out where the center is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this should be the center. Okay. Man, the past 2 episodes has been me just building things. I'm not used to it. Okay, so it does recognize that it wants it, even though on the preview it doesn't show it. So that's a good sign. I don't know if there's a way like GTNH has it, where you can auto-build multi-blocks. That would be so cool if that was the case. I don't think that's the case for this one. Maybe if I put the controller down with the schematic, maybe it'll auto-place. Yeah, this thing is absolutely going to take the entire 13 by 13 by 13 space. Thing is quite large. I think that's another thing that GTNH has going for it. Is the fact that you can actually build multi-blocks by just telling it, hey, I want to build this multi-block on the controller, like a little schematic item, and then it actually just builds it for you. It's so helpful, especially in a mod pack like that where you're having to build like probably in the thousands of multi-blocks, which I probably have placed already. Jeez. Say what you want about GTNH, but some people may say that it's like super grindy, but for me, it's like, it's just fun to play. It's like it's just a different way of playing a mod pack and something that I really enjoy. But anyways, this is a playthrough about Compact Claustrophobia, not GTNH. So I'm kind of thinking about it now, right? It asks for the vacuum fluid input hatch, but none of the recipes actually needs any fluids. So I'm pretty sure it's just making you make it just for it to be there. And that should be the multi-block completed. Where is the controller? Somewhere back here. Structure found, unpowered high impact compactor. Status, no matching recipes found. So it is working. It's just that for the actual recipes to start, we have to power the electromagnets in here. So that's going to be part of the challenge, is to figure out how am I going to power this thing, because like we have to either access it from the outside, because I think the best way for me to power the thing is to give the outside the cryo-stabilized flex duct, right? Because there's no other way to get into that energy hatch otherwise. It has to be powered from the outside. There's also things I can use like proxies. Range capability proxies is probably something I can do, but this does require nether wart, and I don't think I want to do that. So I'm pretty sure for our purposes, best bet is to just use tunnels and interact with the outside world. I don't think there's anything I have to do with the fluid, so I'm going to leave them like this. But let's try to figure that out. So I did talk about it last episode, but I'm going to be putting the compact machine right here. That's going to store the high impact compactor, and we'll interface with it on the outside through here. So for me to actually craft the items, I'm going to be using a crafter. Go ahead and push this stuff over into a strong box. Okay, so one thing to think about. I don't know what happens if we put servos right here, so I don't want to risk it. So I think I'm actually going to move it over here. Oh, I can't pick that up, right? Excuse me, sir. I got to go in there. All right, so that guy's going to face there into a strong box. And then, of course, I forgot my item ducts. But all of the servo stuff is going to exist out here. So I'll put a cable right there. I want this to push items out of the strong box we get from our refined storage crafting. Now everything I put in here is going to get pushed inside the high impact compactor. And then if I want everything to be stored, I just need a strong box right here. The output is going to point into that strong box, and then we import it into our network. with an importer. Okay, so the power is going to be a little bit of a tricky thing. Now, one thing I need to really watch out for is if we can even support the output. One way to find out, right? But what I'm going to do is connect it like that, right here. And then we just do the same thing for the other fusion reactor. So one thing I'm not too sure of is how is it going to work with like priority? I'm going to watch it for a little bit while I do crafts, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that because they generate a different amount of power, which one is it going to take power from, or is it evenly distribute between all the connections? I guess I don't really fully understand how these flex ducts extract power, but I'm going to keep an eye on my fusion reactors, because if we ever run out of power here, that's not a very good sign. Because that means these electromagnets are going to run out, and that's going to cause our fusion reactors to go boom. But I think the best bet to deal with this is to actually just plug it in at the same time. So now they're both plugged in. Let's take a look at our fusion reactor battery banks. I don't like how that looks. Okay, this one's full, so it looks like it's just taking power away from the other one. Yeah, it's trying to take it all from one of them. So this is a good solution, I don't think, because it doesn't look like this is taking power from both of them. And if I look inside here, yeah, everything's charged now. And again, we need to be able to maintain like 56,000 RF per tick or something like that. But based on how I have it plugged in here, it's just taking it all from this guy. And once this runs out, that is a big uh-oh. So what I'm going to do is just remove that guy and think of another solution here. Yeah, this is a little tricky to think about, and it's like a major reason why I didn't connect this to my main base, because it's just a little bit of a puzzle. The main issue is that they consume different amounts of power, and I think the ideal way to set this up is to send all of the output into a unified battery, and then get the battery power into these flux ducts. So it's going to be a little tricky to do this. Let me think about it some more, actually. Okay, I have an idea, but I'm going to do it in part so I don't accidentally break my reactors. Because that would be a really bad thing. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and replace every single cable involved with the fusion reactors with cryostabilized flux ducts. This way I don't have to worry about any of the cables running out of power. If you're going to replace your cables, you absolutely have to be sure that it's powered off. Because I'm pretty sure if you run out of power for these magnets while it's running, basically a guaranteed way to cause an explosion for your reactor. You don't want that. At this point of the pack, we're kind of rich, so I can totally afford this. You know what? I like the color theme now. Blue. It suits the walls very nicely, right? Activate it, see what happens. We lost like 20% efficiency, which is like not a very good thing, but it should be fine. As long as this is a net positive, which it looks like it is. Okay, cool. We have a net positive. I'm going to leave this running for a little bit while we upgrade the next one. This would be the first step. The next step is to actually connect both of them to a centralized battery pack. And I have this DU lithium-ion battery from last time. They're going to store basically all of their output into it, and then they share that battery bank. And you know that I'm a GT&H enjoyer, where literally every single thing that shows up in the mod packs like this makes me think about it. But this is pretty much how we have our power network. You have a system that just generates power, a whole bunch of different machines, multi-blocks that are involved in that, and it sends all of that power into a big battery bank. We feed from that battery bank to power the machines that are involved in making power. So it's kind of like a little loop, and this should be good. Okay, so this is the first step completed. And then the next step is to send all of this power into a big battery buffer. And maybe I'm overcomplicating things, but that's part of how I play, right? I like to do that. I like to overcomplicate things, and then I come back to it realizing that, wait, I could have done this a lot easier. So now we have this connected on the outside, which connects to both the top and the bottom. Oh, it's not good. Okay, I don't really know what happened. I assumed that the machines are, like the fusion reactors are safe if they're not even running, which they're not. So I don't really know what happened. The good thing is that it's all contained and nothing's really going to explode. Doesn't look like it's so bad, but it's also really difficult to get in there. This guy's fine. Yeah, everything here looks like it's okay, but I don't know what happened to the other one. Maybe I just didn't connect something correctly. I gotta hurry up here. Oh, my body's in the way. How am I gonna do this? So I'm gonna try and go in that box. and immediately start spamming the ladders on the wall. Let's try this. It's still messed up in there, right? Yeah. I don't know what happened. But if I can salvage it, that would be good. As long as I don't touch any of that stuff. Right, I'm gonna spawn in there, place ladders right here. Right here. Okay, we got one ladder there. I think if I go in there and jump, we should be okay. Yeah, the easiest thing to deal with this is to just load it back up, but I don't want to do that. I think if I go in there and start jumping right away, we should be good. All right, one more try. I think I just need to eat the apple, get in here, and climb the ladder. Oh, I guess it evaporates over time also. So let's try to figure out what happened. I think, for whatever reason, it thought that it was still powered, or maybe it was still too hot, and it just did not like that at all. So this is salvageable. Let me try to plug in everything first and then get everything else going. We should be okay. May or may not have realized is that I am a incredibly patient person. And all my friends know me like this. It's also a major reason why I'm still playing GT&H. When stuff like this happens, what do? It's fine. Let's figure it out. It's another challenge. But I guess this is a lesson for everybody else as well. Don't go rushing into things because this stuff like this happens when you don't plan for stuff. I may have to look back at the recording and see what happened. This guy also blew up. Why? You were running just fine. Don't lie to me. Oh, this is so funny. So I thought about it for about 5 seconds as soon as I saw the second fusion reactor blow up. Yeah, we're loading a backup. I'm flexible sometimes. I'll go back on my word every now and then if I notice that it's going to take way too long to fix. Really, the only downside to this is we're still missing the superconducting electromagnets for the multi-block. I guess the backup happened right before this one, but I think this was the last thing we did on the last episode anyways. Okay, so we should be back to where I was before I went ahead and blew everything up. Just in case, backup, start. So that if I accidentally blow it up again, we have a better checkpoint because it did take a while for us to get those electromagnets again. So I'm going to spend some even more time than last time trying to figure out what we can do to fix this. So I tried to look back at the footage and I really couldn't figure out what happened. But what I'm thinking, when we plugged in this battery, it completely starved this battery from having any power, which affected all of the electromagnets for both of the fusion reactors. I think that's what had happened. I'm still going to use the battery, but I'm not going to send all of the power. Now, one way we can actually configure how much power we send around is using these energy meters. I talked about this before. By default, they actually do transfer unlimited RF per tick or FE per tick, either one. So yeah, they are your poor man's cryostabilized flux ducts because they transfer unlimited RF per tick as well, but they only have one direction. But you can actually toggle how much transfer limit this thing can support. So what I'm thinking of doing is figuring out how much power we're spending here, and any excess power can be sent outside just fine. That way, we don't actually starve this reactor. And I'm going to do the same thing for both of them. So any excess power that we produce is going to get sent into this battery. So I'm not going to replace any of this because I feel like if I touch it again, it's going to explode. So yes, we're back with math time with burning. I know you guys love this. So get your calculators out. So we'll start off with these two electrolyzers. Each one does 2600. So 2600 times 2 is 5200. And we got to figure out how many electromagnets each one has. I believe it is 96. And each one needs 200 RF per tick to stay active. 96 times 200 plus 5200. This thing is going to be consuming 24,400. I'm going to round up to 25,000 just in case. How much power is this producing? It is 44,000. Again, I'm going to round down just so that, just in case, because I'm scared. So we'll go ahead and just do 40,000 minus 25,000. So 15,000. Meaning I should be able to put an energy meter over here. And don't worry, we still have that backup. So if things go horrendously wrong, we can always go back to a better checkpoint. So 15,000 is what I want to transfer out. Meaning if I connect basically anything outside of here, we should be only transferring 15,000 at most. I'm gonna disconnect that so it doesn't connect to anything else. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work, but I guess we'll see, right? So let's figure out the other one. Put that guy there and filter this to 30,000. Now I'm thinking about it and it may not be enough because we have 15,000 in one and 30,000 in the other, which is a total of 45,000. I might have to add another fission reactor to help it out. It's a good thing we actually have another one over here just hanging out by itself. So we can always use that to give the rest of the power it's going to need. I'm going to plug them in up here. These are both set to input on either side. And then give them the flux duct. So... yeah, it absolutely blew up again. So I think what had happened was as soon as I connected the cryo-stabilized one to the Signalum one, it consumed all of the power that this had, which of course starved my electromagnets and it just ended up blowing up. The setup does work. I'm able to confirm it. This is topped off with power. This is topped off with power as well, so everything's working just fine. I also increased this to 17,000 because I had a little bit of extra room. But what I absolutely needed to do was not connect this branch of power to the reverse branch because these flux ducts are hungry. They ate all of the power and it destroyed basically everything. So my answer to that was just to move the ion battery one block down so that now there's no way for these cables to intermingle with each other. And then I went ahead and put the fission reactor on top. And this guy is just simply getting fuel and outputting all the power on the bottom into this guy. So we see here that there's a steady increase. It's very small, but I'm hoping with a big enough buffer, it should offset that over time. And then I can check here. We have finally powered this guy up. It took a little bit longer than I would like to admit, but we got it going. Structure found, high impact compactor. Finally. Okay, so let's go take it out for a spin. I'm going to make 2 recipes. One of them to turn nuggets into diamonds, and then the other one is to turn hop graphite into the nuggets, because we now have a cheaper way of doing this. So let's try to craft 3 of them. Yeah, let's do it. And there we go, our first diamond. And then really the next step is to make a diamond pickaxe, which is why I crafted 3 of them. So yeah, this is proof that it does work. It's a little hard to watch this actually work live, mostly because the recipes that it has actually process extremely quickly. 50 ticks divided by 20 is 2.5 seconds. So it does work pretty fast. But yeah, we do have diamonds now, which is great. Which means a diamond pick. Sweet. I'm so excited. Next up is to actually put this into a auto clicker. I don't know how many I'm going to want, but the fact that it gives us more diamond nuggets is actually really good. So I'm going to start off with 1 and then try to make more as we need them. And we have the semi-automatic auto clicker set up over here, which is what I'm going to use. So I guess what I can do to help out that auto clicker is just set up recipes to make more of these picks. I'm going to make 1 at a time. And as we put more of them, we're going to be getting more nuggets, which is going to help us craft more of them. And you know what? Now that I think about it, the chance to get bedrock chunks is so low. I think what I'm going to do to help us out is actually automate dash picks and go ahead and put them in our little auto clicker setup, just like we have with all the other picks over here. So we got to remind ourselves what the dash pick produces. It is going to be iridium, platinum, hopstitute, and tiny coal. So 4 caches we're going to need. And then another thing I can do is upgrade our coke producer because we're having to make a lot of hop graphite now. And I can simply do this by just adding a bunch of these guys over here. And then prepare a bunch of caches for the new stuff that we're going to get. Okay, so now we should have dash picks automated now, and which is going to give us our hopstitute carbon fiber so we can make more hop graphite much more efficiently. And use that to turn into more diamond nuggies. Okay, so I spent a little bit of time upgrading some of the machines to improve us crafting diamond picks, and we now have 5 of them going at once. And pretty cool, if I check the storage, we have 2 bedrock chunks. We're making progress. Let's go ahead and claim the quest for this. Chunks of concentrated hardness. You know it. Oh, we're almost done. Now, in order for me to actually craft the bedrock, though, we're still quite a ways away from it because I need 9 pieces of chunks for 1 piece of bedrock. And then the actual pick itself, I need 3 pieces of bedrock. So 3 times 9, 27 chunks in total. So we're not quite there yet, but we're almost there. Man, we're so close too. I think what I'm going to do is add even more auto clickers to do all of this. Oh, that's struggling actually. Wait. I think I have to upgrade the extractor over here. Yeah, you don't have any extract upgrades. Let me take care of that real quick. Oh, you see it, right? There's a bedrock chunk right there. Yeah, I guess while we're waiting for the other stuff to craft, I'm going to add more auto clickers over here. It's been a while, but do you remember that this was a 5x5 setup of auto clickers? Okay, you gotta chill. I'll stick with 10 of them, and I'll come back if it's not enough. But I'm pretty sure 10 is a good number to have. And now that I think about it, we just need 3 pieces of bedrock because there's a recipe here to convert the actual block into the chunks if I need the chunks for anything else. So I'm pretty sure once we actually get the 24 more chunks, that's it. That's pretty much all we're going to need to do when it comes to bedrock because I can just go in the overworld and farm it up. It'd be so cool. So excited for this. Oh yeah, check it out. 9 chunks, which means our first piece of bedrock. This feels so illegal. Just don't place it because there's no way I'm able to break this thing without the bedrock pick. I'm looking at the uses for the bedrock pick. There's a couple of things I can do with it. It says here bedrock breaker. I don't know if this actually can break bedrock or if it's just a good pick. Maybe this is what I'm going to need. If this is what I need, that's completely fine because it's actually super cheap. I think that's what it's trying to tell me, but I guess we'll figure it out once I actually craft the thing. What can I do with the single piece of bedrock? I can make a shovel. That's pretty much it. Oh, it looks like you can even get to the end with bedrock. I just need 4 of them. That's a little expensive. Nuh-uh. Uh-oh, we have enough to craft the pick. I had to spend like 30 diamond pickaxes just to get enough bedrock chunks. It was kind of expensive. How our base is set up, we actually were able to craft enough, which is great. And here it is, the bedrock pick. Oh man, you're getting put in the first slot immediately. Get out of here, tough alloy pick. It was about to break anyways. There were a few items that would break the game earlier, but you deserve freedom. I'm pretty sure I can actually just use ender pearls to escape. Oh, that must be why. That must be the reason why you can't use these until you get stage freedom. Because I know in the nether especially, you can actually just use ender pearls to escape out of this. But here's the test. Does it work? Oh, it works. We're free. Okay, I was really hoping that it wouldn't just destroy the pick because there's some blocks that do that. I'm actually going to need some, like, water. Let's get a water bucket so I can MLG out of here. What do you mean I don't have permission to use this command? Let me escape. Maybe I have to actually get out of the box. Yeah, let's do that first. I got a water bucket with me so I can actually MLG out of here. Do people still say that? I don't know, but it was a big thing a couple years ago. I still say it. It's funny. This won't hurt me, right? No, it's just lava stone. Okay. Oh, I didn't even need a bucket. Hang on. Before I do this, I'm gonna put this down. You know what? I can actually bring this with me. Let's make a bed first, though, because I don't want to wander around in the dark. That's freaky. It keeps telling me to update the quest, and I don't know why. But I'm pretty sure if you place a bed here, it'll explode. So I'm not going to do that. Just take my word for it. That is what happens. So I think what I can actually do is bring my compact machine. And if I need it anywhere, I will have it with me. So I'm going to be living the life of a nomad from now on, I think. Let me just get down there. Make sure that there's absolutely things that want to murder me. Hang on. Let's try to build a little spot up top so I can sleep. So even though we escaped the prison, remember that there's still a couple of quests that we have to complete. For example, let me break this first. For example, let's check here for challenges. Oh, you know what? Let's check out what this is all about. Inhuman, collect 100 bedrock. I don't think I want to do this by hand. What is that? 100,000 poop? That doesn't seem too bad. 100 force more quad swing. Oh, it goes even more. Oh, geez, that's expensive. And then water. It needs a lot of water. No description. Okay, cool. Lots of lava. Lots of iron. So it's just a bunch of collection things. Oh, law. I don't think any of this I want to like especially the diamonds and bedrock. We're not going to use the high impact compactor. No. That was a one and done thing. I think from now on we got to figure out how to actually pick up this stuff, especially the diamonds. I got to mine for it like a normal person. I'm pretty sure there's ways to actually mass produce this stuff. What am I doing? I have a water bucket. Just climb up. It's about to be daytime anyways, but the whole idea here is I wanted to sleep here so I don't have to face any mobs down there. Alright. We have escaped. This is actually kind of a big deal for me. And of course it spawns me in a place where there's absolutely nothing, so that's why I brought this guy over. So the cool thing about compact machines is as long as the actual machine is loaded, then everything inside it will be loaded as well. And it still retains all of your like information. So what I'm going to do is craft a boat. And then, you know what? We have enough bedrock to make a chest plate, right? Yeah. Get some extra protection up here. Sweet. That's probably the first thing I'm going to do is make a set of bedrock tools so I can make my life easier. Now that I think about it, I probably should have harvested all of that bedrock up there. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to mind if there's just a giant cobblestone pillar in the middle of the world. I know I won't mind. There really isn't anything out here, right? Yeah, it's just water. Wow. But yeah, let's go ahead and harvest some of this bedrock so I can make a set of tools and armor for myself. So I have 23 bedrock now. I should have enough to make everything I would need. So this is where I gotta ask people, what are your preferred ways of setting up your inventory? I always like to have my sword at front, a pick, axe, and then shovel. And then this other stuff is kind of just for whatever. Let's also take some apples because we have a whole bunch of these. I don't really know what I'm looking for. I'm just going to try to explore for a little bit and see what we can find. So I kind of forgot about this too. There's like Galacticraft in here. So this is also something we're going to have to do. But let's go ahead and follow the quest book where it asks us to punch a tree under an open sky. I can just pick up a regular piece of wood, right? But I think it's kind of fitting to actually find a real tree. So I guess while we're traveling around, something I kind of wanted to bring up was just the nature of Compact Claustrophobia and how it's like an expert pack. It's extremely like condensed. It didn't really give me the opportunity to explore. So there's a lot of missed conversations that could be had when it comes to exploring things, right? Because whenever there's times like this where I'm just walking around, this is usually the time where I have the most thought. And I wasn't really able to do that with this mod pack. And that's completely okay, right? That is the nature of the pack. That is what I expected. But just the funny thing to think about is that absolutely the next pack I'm going to play is Meatball Craft. I've been really itching to play that pack. There's just something about 1.12 expert packs that really make me want to come back to them every time I play them. But that pack is like basically the opposite of this one, where there's tons of exploration. I think that's really the main goal of the pack, is to explore probably hundreds of dimensions. I'm really looking forward to that because it's going to be a completely different pace of what this pack was. But anyways, we have touched grass. Wait, this is actually the first time I've touched grass, right? Because I don't think we've seen this anywhere else. I know there was the first glitched compact machine, but I don't think it actually had grass like this. But let's go ahead and follow this quest. Does it let me do vein miner? No, it does not. How dare you? Yeah, I'm just going to leave that there, untouched. Punch a tree under an open sky. We're going back to vanilla Minecraft and going straight into rockets. Say what you want about Galacticraft. I know some people can say it's a little repetitive, and I do mostly agree with that sentiment. But this is going to be the first time I play with not a lot of different things, right? I guess in that way it's going to be a little different. So really the next objectives of this mod pack is to just complete the rest of the quest book. The main objective is completed, which is to escape the prison. But I am a little bit of a completionist, and I do want to complete every single quest. So next episode, we're probably going to start off with completing these little random ones that I probably should have completed already. Like, there's a random checkmark quest right here. This has probably been done. So something happened throughout the pack. I don't exactly know when, but my quests reset, and I try to bring them back to where they were. Like, I know I've had a garden cloche before. I've had all of this stuff before, but it resets somewhere. I don't remember why this happened. All my glitched adventures quests are not there anymore, but that's fine. We'll work around that. But yeah, that looks like the next couple of episodes are going to be done to complete the random quests that we have yet to complete. I think I'm also going to focus on Galacticraft next episode, see what's needed for that. And I think one of the last things we'll be doing this playthrough is doing all of these little challenges. For now, I appreciate your time and support. Oh, shush, I'm trying to do an outro. For now, I appreciate your time and support. Take care, have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.